Hey everyone, my name is John Galan, and over the past 3 years, I've successfully closed and assigned over 250 deals, resulting in over $46 million worth of real estate transactions and paying out over $1 million in wholesaler assignment fees and $1 million in agent commissions. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about agent commissions. I know what it's like to have limited time, especially when you're first starting off and building this business. So if you have 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, basically less than a full-time gig in order to do this, I'm going to be showing you exactly what you could do to make sure you're spending the time you do have on needle moving activities and make sure you could use this side business to then replace your main income and have this be your full-time gig, even when you're busy at a 9-to-5 job. So the reality is, if you only have 2 hours a day to put your time into this business, you're going to have to make sure you're ruthless about spending those 2 hours on money-making activities. So I'll walk you through a daily 5-step process in order to do this, plus some tips on how to prep yourself for outside of those money-making hours. This will help you to make consistent offers, nail your follow-ups, build relationships with agents and sellers, stay organized with a simple system, and partner with solid disposition wholesalers so you don't spend time trying to dispo your own deals. So first step is to figure out your scheduling. When are you 100% free and what days, because it might change based on the day, but when are you 100% free to dedicate time to this business? Maybe it's 5 to 7 p.m. Maybe it's 1 to 3 p.m. Maybe it's 5 to 7 Monday and Tuesday. It's 1 to 3 Wednesday and Thursday. Whatever it is, figure out your dedicated hours to this business, whether it's 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, but figure out your money-making hours. And whatever time frame that is, it could be 9 to 10 and then 5 to 6. Doesn't matter. Whatever that time period is, make sure you have that blocked off and that is dedicated time. That is sacred time. You're not doing anything else during that time period besides these actions that I'm about to tell you. The other thing too is you're really going to be able to call people from generally like an 8:30 to maybe a 6:30, 7 o'clock window for the most part, especially if you're going the agent route. So you want to make sure during those times you have at least 1 hour to be making calls on. But if you have 2 hours during that time frame, you're calling during those 2 hours. Outside of those hours, outside of that 9 to 5 or that 2 hour window that you have, you could spend time on other tasks like comping properties and looking for leads. So step 2 is going to be comping outside of your 2 hour money-making window. So one of the biggest time savers and will help you be more intentional during those 2 hour block is to comp these properties outside of those windows. Why? Because it's very time consuming and you won't have an offer until you've comped the property. And this way you could spend that 2 hour window on the phones, making those offers and those follow-up calls. So how can you do this? Well, maybe on the weekend, if throughout the weekdays you can't, maybe on the weekends you have a comping frenzy where you comp as many deals as you can on Saturday morning and Sunday morning. So you have all of them comped and ready to go for the offers to be made throughout the week. Or maybe if you have a morning calling hours, that night you comp deals, get the offers and everything ready for the next morning calling windows. Or if you're calling at night, maybe early in the morning, you comp as many deals as you can during whatever time block you have and get those offers ready for your night calling shift. So basically you want to comp as many as you can on the weekends, or if you have like a morning shift of comping and a night shift of comping, whatever time frame you have outside of those calling hours, comp as many deals as you can during that time period that you have, and then get those offers ready because during your calling hours, you'll be making those offers. So that brings me to step 3, which is the core 2 hours, your calling hours. During these golden hours, you're focused exclusively on making offers and doing your follow-ups. And by follow-ups, I mean following up on your existing offers you made previously. Because eventually, all these offers you're making, they're going to start building up, right? And so money's in the follow-up. You don't want to neglect those. So as these offers start building up, your follow-ups start becoming the first thing you do. So if you have 2 hours in a day, there might be some time where the first full hour is you doing your offer follow-ups and all the previous ones you've made. And usually you're following up with offers generally every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, those offers are going to be building up. So you're going to do follow-ups. And then once you're done with your follow-ups, you're going to go ahead and make those new offer calls and get those new offers out. And now if you cannot get as many new offers out as you want, or maybe you have so many offer follow-ups that for an hour and a half you do that and you only have a half hour of new, that's totally fine. You want to make sure you're dedicating time to your offer follow-ups. So if follow-ups take longer than expected, totally fine, because 70 to 80% of your contracts will come from these offer follow-ups. So just remember, if you can't spend as many time on new offers when your offer follow-ups are piling up, that is totally fine. Don't feel guilty about it because the money's in the follow-up. And you're making those new offers also to get those offer follow-ups coming on. So yeah, you might only get 2 offers out, or maybe you have 30 minutes of new offer, but if you neglect your follow-ups and you keep making a bunch of new offers, then your follow-up process will start to decline. And as a result, you're just making offers. And if you don't get a 1 call close, then they're not going to get accepted anyway because you neglect them on the follow-up. So follow-ups are key. And then step 4 is keeping your system simple. You don't need a crazy CRM. It is ideal, but if you have 2 hours, you don't need some crazy CRM that you're paying $300 a month for. And if you're not in a non-disclosure state, you could just use Zillow to comp. I still use Zillow to comp. Now, what are the non-disclosure states? That's where you're not going to find any sold data. Like, you can't use Zillow. It'll just be a yellow circle with a dash. But the non-disclosure states are Alaska, Idaho, Kansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, New Mexico, North Dakota, Texas, Utah, Wyoming. If you're not in any of those states, use Zillow to comp. And you could use Redfin to find properties to call on. And if you don't know how to do that, check out my Redfin video that I made. It's in the link below. So those are free. You don't need to spend any money on those. And then for organizing your leads, your agent contacts, your properties that you've comped and the notes on there, I would recommend using either a free version of Podio, Google Sheets, either a free or a basic version of Trello. I do recommend either Podio or Trello though, because it'll make it easier to manually set your follow-up dates and have your task list kind of each day so you don't get bombarded when you have a lot of stuff. So I would recommend either doing a free version of Podio or the basic or free version of Trello, especially because you could have the agent's information, you could have the address with all of your notes on the comps and how the calls have went. So it's just better for your follow-up game and as well as staying on top of your leads. You know, for your phone, since you're not making that many calls, you could use your cell phone or you could use like a Google Voice. You don't have to go crazy with that. And then step 5 is finding good dispo partners. During this time, you're going to be act heavy and you're not going to be looking for buyers during this time period because all of your time and attention is spent on lead generation and getting out offers and getting contracts, as well as the free time is on comping properties, making sure you're on top of your follow-ups and having that simple system staying in place and not falling through. So you're not going to have time to find buyers and try to sell your own deals. Be okay with getting a 50-50 split of a deal. It's better than a 0% split of a deal, right? So find some strong dispo wholesalers. I would recommend 3 to 5 solid dispo wholesalers you can rely on. So when you get a contract, you could send it to them and they could work on selling it as you keep looking on getting more deals. And listen, if you're in Florida and you need help, send it to me and my team over at EasyRes. So connect with us at deals@easyres.com and we could sell your deals for you. We do that all the time with wholesalers in Florida. With those 5 steps, it's great to have them. But the most important thing, which I see a lot of people up on, is consistency. Consistency is key. The biggest issue is a lack of consistency. I'll see people go hard for like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then that's it. Next thing I know, they're done. They're not doing it anymore. They gave up because maybe they had one canceled contract. I mean, they got it, or they didn't have any contracts, you know, or maybe they're going shiny object syndrome and they're changing things up or whatever it is. I just don't see enough consistency in people. So you will not really see results unless you're consistent. And by consistent, I mean consistent for a minimum of a 90-day period. Minimum 90 days give yourself, especially if you only have 2 hours a day of working. So follow the same 2-hour block that you have or whatever hour block you have. Regularly comp those offers, those houses outside of those calling hours and make sure you're on top of your follow-ups. Follow up relentlessly and keep your pipeline clean. Eventually, the more you do this, you're gonna start building up momentum, more and more momentum. And then eventually you'll have done a couple of deals, you'll have more money in your bank account than you make from your W-2 and you could quit it if you don't like your job. And now you do this full time. So just to recap, whether you have an hour a day, 4 hours a day, 2, 3, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Basically, if you have any time constraints, because of family or W-2 job, you're going to want to follow this process. 1, block out your time. Find those 1 to 4 hours during those golden hours that you could dedicate to the money-making activities and no distractions. You do it when you set that time. Let everybody in your family or anybody that's going to be texting you, hey, I'm off limits from this time to this time. Number 2 is look for deals and comp outside of those golden hours. Reserve your actual time, the 2 hours during that window, for calling, and then that any free time you're going to be spending on looking for deals, comping them, and making sure whatever you have to do the next day, you're ready to go for the next day. Like, you know which follow-ups you have to do, the deals are found, they comped, your offers are ready to go for tomorrow, so you could just call, offer, call, offer, call, offer. 3 is the offer focus. Spend those 2 hours or whatever you have, those golden hours, on making those calls, doing those follow-ups, making those offers and offer follow-ups. But pay attention to what's on your plate. You want to be mindful of how long it takes you to do certain things. Like I said with the follow-ups, if the follow-ups are going to take me about an hour and a half, let's just say, I'm not going to try to schedule another hour and a half of making offers since I know I won't have that. So don't overload your plate. Be cognizant of how long it takes you to do things and make sure you're not overwhelming yourself with too much to do and then everything else starts to fall behind. So remember what I said. Follow-ups are important because if you don't follow those follow-ups and you try to just make as many new offers as possible, the follow-ups pile up, they get neglected, and basically you're going to be relying on 1 call closes because you're not even touching your follow-ups. 4 simple systems. Use free versions of Podio for your basic of Trello, Google Sheets, your cell phone, or Google Voice. 5, partner with solid dispos. Partner with solid dispo wholesalers like myself. Let us handle the buyers, marketing the deal as you rely on getting contracts and going acquisitions heavy. And lastly, stay consistent for a minimum of a 90-day period. Follow this process for 90 days, and then eventually you'll have the time to get out of that time constraint and do this full time, if you choose to. So I hope you guys found this helpful. A lot of times I get asked questions about, hey, I only have X amount of time. Hopefully this answered everything and it was clear and concise, that you understand the system you have in place. If you are interested in any help as far as what to do, feel free to join my Facebook group, Wholesaler Resource Network. I go live every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, just answering as many questions as I can. It's completely free, not selling anything. I just like to help people and make sure people are successful. And if you're in Florida and you want to work with me and my team, feel free to reach out to deals@easyrez.com. If you're interested in applying for a position here, reach out to john@easyrez.com. Hope you all enjoy this, and I'll see you in the next video.